Well, I continue to be amazed at the advancement of the technology in the area of trail cameras. Today is no exception. We have a brand new release from Campark. It is their TC06. Now this is advertised as a 60 megapixel trail camera. Yes, 60 megapixel, but it also includes their Starlight night vision. Now that is their new technology that's going to allow you to get color nighttime photos and videos without having the white LED flash. Yes, the Starlight is supposed to take just a small amount of ambient light, maybe from the stars or the moon, and produce color photos and videos. Cannot wait to see how that works. We're going to do a quick unboxing, but then more importantly, we're going to mount this camera out and get some wildlife photos and videos. We're going to check out its features and especially that Starlight night vision. It is the Campark TC06. Inside the package, we get our user's manual. We have our actual trail camera. Take a closer look at that in just a second. But the camera also includes a mount, an optional wall mount, has a 1/4 mount on the end of that, has a USB cable, and it also comes with a tree strap with a black plastic buckle. Let's take a closer look at the camera. It does have these dual lenses, and the camera is capable of taking 4K and 60 megapixels during the daytime and 1080p at nighttime. Again, it has that Starlight technology. You don't want to forget to remove all the different lens coverings here. On the side, it has 2 latches. They're both plastic latches. And then inside the camera has a quick start guide, but it also has a very large display screen. You could view back your photos and videos right there on the screen, but you can also set up the menu and go through all the different customized settings right here on your screen. On this side, we do have a battery tray, and it does take 8 AA batteries. Have a 3-position switch here, on, off, and setup. It does take a full-size SD card. Here's your USB port. On the back of the camera, it does have a place for a security cable here and your tree strap for mounting. On the bottom, it has a 1/4 mount, and it also has an external power port. This external port is 6 volts. Now onto the fun part. We're going to be putting in batteries and a full-size SD card and mounting this out into the woods. I want to get sample photos and videos of wildlife here on my farm to show you the type of quality you can expect from this 60 megapixel trail camera. But I also cannot wait to see how that Starlight technology works. Let's get it out in the woods and put it to work. So you just saw some sample videos that this camera has taken over the past month. I'm going to show you many more in the conclusion of this video. I'll also show you some sample pictures, both daytime and nighttime, that this camera was taken. But I want to walk you through some of the other features that this camera offers, a couple of the hiccups that I ran into, and then at the end I'll give you my final thoughts, the pros and cons as I see it after using this camera. I wanted to touch on the Wi-Fi. This camera is a Wi-Fi enabled trail camera. That does not mean it's a cellular camera, and it will not be able to send you photos or videos to your smartphone. The Wi-Fi creates a hotspot near this camera, probably within about 50 feet. When you get within that distance, you can log into this camera's Wi-Fi hotspot and look at the videos and photos that are on the camera. You can also have full access to all the settings that are on the camera through the app. When you open up the app, you get a live feed of exactly what the camera is seeing. You can actually see me sitting there. I'm about 50 feet away from the camera. And at that point, I can go through and look at the recorded videos that are already on the camera. You can scroll through and select photos or videos, and you can play back the videos right here through the app connected to the camera's Wi-Fi. As I already mentioned, you also have access to all the camera settings. You can go into the mode, whether you want photo or video, or dual mode, where it takes a photo followed by a video. You also have access to the resolution on photos or videos. There's PIR sensitivity. There's 3 different settings there. You can adjust your IR, LEDs, and many other different settings. In fact, all the settings that the camera offers can all be adjusted right here through the app using the built-in Wi-Fi signal. So the Campark app and the Wi-Fi feature on this camera worked very well for me. I do want to discuss one little hiccup that I had with the camera, and that is with the camera's audio. Now this camera has great audio. In other words, the microphone picks up very well the ambient sounds. If the animals are making noise or walking past the trail cameras, it has very good audio. But when I did the audio test with this camera, it was only then that I found out there was a bit of a delay. So I wanted to do an audio test. It's pretty windy out here, and I'm about 15 feet away from the trail camera. I'm not sure if you can see that deer way back there. But I wanted to see how well you can hear me. So there was a delay. In other words, the audio was not synced up with the video, and my mouth and the words you were hearing were not matched up. I contacted Campark's customer service through email, and they informed me that there would be a firmware update. They actually sent a link through the email to update the firmware of this camera. I was able to download that link and put that file onto an SD card, insert the SD card into the camera, and updated the firmware. I'm happy to say that took care of the sync or the delay in the video and synced up the audio and the video, and I had no further problems. In fact, before I did that audio test, when I was just hearing ambient sounds and the animals walking, I didn't even realize that there was a delay until I was physically standing in front of the camera and when my lips and the words were not matching up. Now, I am not sure whether this is an isolated incident with just my camera, but I have been hearing some other people having that same problem, so I'm suspicious there might be a big batch of cameras somewhere in the US warehouse that might all have this problem. Again, it was a very easy fix, and it completely fixed this camera once I updated the firmware. That does take a little bit of computer knowledge, so if you are completely computer illiterate, you're going to need to find somebody younger than you, maybe a child or a grandchild, to help you through that. You will have to download that file onto your computer. It's a compressed file. You'll have to unzip it. You'll format an SD card and put that unzipped file over onto the SD card, insert it into the camera in order to update that firmware. Again, that sounds a bit overwhelming or maybe a little intimidating, but it really isn't that hard. I was able to do it on the first try and have the audio fixed. So that was the only hiccup I had with this camera. I do want to talk about that Starlight feature that you heard me talking about in the beginning. The option where you can get color, photos, and videos at nighttime with just some ambient light. Now, I don't know if I had too high of expectations going into it or didn't fully understand what that advertisement meant or what that feature was going to allow this camera to do. But I went into it thinking I'm going to get a lot more color, photos, and videos at nighttime. The fact is, this camera does have IR bulbs or IR illumination at night, so you do get that black and white photos or videos, but it has the Starlight feature that, when enabled, allows you to get color photos and videos at dusk and dawn, I would say. That is most effective when most trail cameras switch over to the IR right before dark or early in the morning. A lot of cameras struggle with that transition. This camera does stay in that color mode a lot longer at nighttime, and it starts earlier in the morning than virtually any other trail camera I used. So that Starlight feature does work, but as I already mentioned, you have to enable it. By default, the camera's settings have that off, so you'll have to go into the menu, you'll have to go into the night shot mode option, and in that category it'll give you more color. If you click on more color, that will enable this Starlight feature, and you'll get more color photos and videos, especially at dawn and dusk. At nighttime, even in an edge of a field or a wide open spot. In fact, I used this camera as a security camera, placed it under my dusk and dawn light, thinking that might be enough light to give color photos all night long. That is not the case. This camera did do well, and I did get those color photos and videos. But again, right at last light and the beginning light is when I got those. You will not, or at least I did not get color photos or videos with a full moon or out along the edge of a field where lots of starlight might get in. It's going to be black and white with the IR on, or at least it was in my experience. It's now time for my final thoughts. I want to tell you more pros and cons. I'll be showing you more sample photos and videos from this camera as we draw to a conclusion here. This camera was exceptional quality photos and videos. I cannot say how impressed I am. In fact, this is possibly the best quality of any trail camera I've ever used. It is right up there, if it is not the very best. I think you'll agree in those samples that I had showed you and continued to show during the daytime, nighttime. It really is crystal clear video. The nighttime photos and videos, the IR does a great job. If you look at the nighttime photos and videos, edge to edge, top to bottom, they are totally filled out. The IR is distributed evenly and near perfectly. It is crisp and clean, especially at nighttime. During the day is no exception. Again, I cannot rant and rave enough how impressed I am with the quality photos and videos I have received from this camera. Now, this is not meant to be a direct comparison video, but for contrast, I mounted this camera at the exact location that I had a Browning Recon Force Edge 4K camera. Now, that's a $220 camera and possibly one of the best cameras that Browning offers for video quality. And when compared, mounted at the exact location at different times, I could compare footage. And in my opinion, this $150 Campark camera walks circles around the $220 4K Browning camera. So again, I'm impressed. In this case, this Campark is nearly $70 cheaper and yet offers better quality in photos and videos, I would say nighttime and daytime. This Campark also offers a place for a security cable. You could put a padlock on the door of the camera to keep it from being opened. It runs on a full-size SD card. Many people really like that option. It has a ton of features in the settings. You can go in there and fully customize this camera, and it gives you complete control to get this camera to perform exactly how you need to. Again, you can adjust the PIR sensitivity to high, medium, and low. You can adjust the quality both daytime and nighttime. It divides them out into two different types. So you have full customization with this. Many, many setup options. Because this camera has dual lens, that's going to cut down on the noise of an IR filter. Most every other trail camera out there is going to have a physical IR filter that's going to flip down in front of your camera lens when it takes a nighttime photo or video. That has the potential of causing noise, and a noisy camera is no good when it comes to wildlife. You can easily spook wildlife with just the click or the sound that the IR filter would make. That noise is eliminated with this camera because it has dual lens, one dedicated for the daytime and one dedicated for nighttime photos and videos. So lots of positives. The only con that I had is, again, that I ran into that audio issue and it was not synced up. That firmware update took care of that, so I had no other issues with that. I've used this camera for over a month now. I am on the original set of 8 lithium batteries from Energizer. So I am pleased with the amount of photos and videos that this camera took that I'm still on the original set of batteries. So lots of good things about this camera. I would say it's going to live up to the hype. It's highly advertised as one of the most advanced or highest quality photos and videos available out there. It runs a Sony sensor. It has a very good processor in it. The lens, it has an f-stop of 2.0, which you camera guys will know that's very good. It helps with low light capabilities and the fact that it can take very good photos and videos in low light. So I'm going to be placing a link down in the description. Again, this is about a $150 camera, but there should be a discount code also down there. That'll be good for a limited time. It's going to save you a couple more dollars off of that. So this comes in as a little higher dollar camera, but it can compete well with virtually any trail camera out there, especially when it comes to quality of its photos and videos. So I'd love to hear from you. Do you have any questions or comments, or maybe something that I totally missed? Please put them down in the comment section. I love hearing from you, and I try and get back to each and every one of you. Again, there'll be a link down in the description to this exact camera. It's an affiliate link, so if you go through that, it does help my channel out, and I can continue to bring reviews just like this one. I want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.